Welcome to the Road to G20, where we look at what's been discussed and debated in the run-up to the summit in Santon. With the summit just around the corner, task teams have been finalising what they would like to discuss at the meeting of world leaders. We've heard from experts in finance, border security, climate change, electricity provision, and other areas of vital importance. A few ambassadors have also been on the show talking about what their countries would like to achieve. Well, joining us is Finland's ambassador to South Africa, Pekka Metso, and also the CEO of Good Governance Africa, Lonwabo Kulati. Welcome to both of you. Good to have you in our company. Ambassador, let's start with you. And Finland, not a member of the G20, but you've been in South Africa. You're working with our government, the G20 members as well. What exactly have you been working on in the run-up to what's happening in just a few weeks from now?
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be here. Kindly enough, South Africa, when you started the presidency, you invited Finland, especially to one of the working groups that we are really keen on, comes from our national expertise, and that's the digital economy working group. So the highlight for this working group was about 2 weeks ago. In Cape Town, there was a ministerial meeting for the digital ministers. And this really made a G20 history for Finland, because this was the first time ever that a Finnish minister was addressing a G20 ministerial level meeting. And we have also been part and we took part in that connection also this artificial intelligence Africa initiative, and then also in other sphere we have been part also with this bioeconomy initiative. So that was something that we did already during the Brazilian presidency of G20, but now we have really uplifted our presence also in the G20 to a new level. And especially it's a great joy to us because it covers an area that we find that we can contribute somehow and bring some of our own expertise to G20.
I want to stay with that expertise. You've got a fund for local government entrepreneurship and also local government initiatives when it comes to building our country. What exactly are you doing with South Africa? Because it's very interesting.
Oh, yes. We have like 3 areas in our so-called Team Finland work, which means economic and development cooperation together with South Africa. So the 3 areas there are sustainable mining, digitalization, digital transformation, and then finally water management. And right now for the fund for local cooperation, it can really say that we support like currently in 2 areas that I mentioned before. One considers the mining, because Finland has lots of small and medium-sized enterprises that are involved in mining. But besides of that, we have also research and development institutions that are there to develop innovation services to mining. And what we are now engaging in South Africa is an organization called WOMHub. And we aim with this cooperation with WOMHub to bring understanding the value of embedding circularity into the business. And in concrete terms, we will train and support 30 women-owned mining sector businesses. So that's the example of the mining. Yeah. And then the second one I mentioned earlier, the water management. So there's a partnership with ICLEI Africa, and here that tries to tackle the water crisis across South Africa. And here again, bringing our knowledge, sharing between municipalities and key stakeholders here in South Africa in the water sector. And the project called Water Source, it aims to develop a toolkit for municipalities to tackle shared water challenges with existing and proven solutions.
Yeah. Ambassador, Ambassador, if I can just cut in there quickly, because I want to get CEO Kolati into this as well, just to talk about good governance, because I'm loving what you are saying. You're bringing investment into our country, you're giving skills to our mining community as well, also water sustainability, which are all key aspects of the G20. But CEO, good governance Africa, we have the investment coming in here, but is there good governance specifically at municipal level?
Oh, thank you so much, Ray, and good afternoon to the viewers and the ambassador. South Africa continues to have a challenge around corruption, and this remains critical. With the country having been grey listed by the Financial Action Task Force in 2023 due to the weaknesses around these issues, where there was concerns about the protection of investment that comes into the country. And now, from what I understand, is that the country has made tremendous amount of progress by completing the 22 items that were part of the action plan by mid-2025. So there seems to be a movement forward to address that. But as you also see in the Madlanga Commission, this issue of corruption and many criminal activities that are happening continue to blight the country. But when it comes to progress around the action points that were agreed on, there seems to be an increase in confidence by investors that the country is doing well enough to be able to attract. Hence, countries like Finland continue to support. But the country has a long way to go in this regard.
Yeah. Ambassador, how do you feel about that? You've heard what the CEO had to say. When it comes to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, when it comes to corruption, does that concern you? Because Finland's putting its money into South Africa.
Of course, like all these are very relevant points and one has to look at them. But we believe that with this kind of partnership, we aim to increase the private sector participation in development cooperation and promote Finnish know-how and business opportunities in South Africa. You must have seen that when it comes to corruption, Finland has been many years already considered one of the least corrupted countries in the world. We have a society that is based on trust. And I'm sure that with this know-how and business mindfulness that comes with cooperation with South Africa, some of these, our customs must also find some good resonance here in South Africa. Yeah, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And it's good to have you here as well in this country, specifically making progress. Ambassador, when it comes to the G20, you've spoken about mining, you've spoken about water. What else would you like to do? Because this is a golden opportunity for Finland to get its foot into the water, its foot through the door, and to say, we here and we can trade.
Absolutely. And I know that our government has the aim to make even closer contacts with G20 in the future. South Africa was very helpful of bringing us now to the table with this digital economy especially. But I think we aim higher. So we didn't have this time yet the so-called guest country status. But I think that will also be at the end of our goals to work with the G20. Our current president, Alexander Stubb, already when he was a ministerial position some 15 years ago in the government, he started talking that the real big issues are discussed in G20 and G7 compositions. So now we are here, and thanks to South Africa, one step closer to what we aim to achieve with G20.
Yeah. CEO Kolati, what would you like to see? Because this is a great opportunity. You talk about good governance Africa. It's also global good governance. This also gives you a fantastic opportunity now to get your say in at the G20. What would you like to discuss there, or have discussed there? What would you like to see?
Well, we are participating in a number of, especially your Think Tank 20 and the Values 20 tracks, which is where our organization has been playing a role. We are working, for example, with the Africa Center for the Study of the U.S. to host an event that's going to elevate the voices of Africa, to amplify the voice of Africa, so that the African governments and South Africa can now take this as an opportunity to shift and improve governance. It's one thing to have all the laws and to have all the institutions, but if you do not have if you have unethical leaders, and if you do not have people that are going to implement what has been agreed, and it's going to be a problem. Hence, I think we have an opportunity now during G20 to learn from countries like Finland, other countries who have gone through some of the challenges that we're going through, so that we can finally become a country that's run on the rule of law. And we have been in this rut for many, many years, commission after commission. It is time now for our leadership to pull us out of this so that we can really play our part in the nations of the world as a positive contributor in the economies and in the benefits for people on the ground.
Time now for investment. It's time now to take countries like Finland and say to them, thank you very much for investing in South Africa, I suppose. Well, unfortunately, this is a conversation we can carry on for the next hour or two, but we'll have to leave it there. Many thanks to Finland's ambassador to South Africa, Pekka Metso, and the CEO of Good Governance Africa, Lonwabo Kulati. The clock is ticking with the G20 Summit in Sandton towards the end of November. Leaders of the global village will decide on how they can work together. So keep following us on our social media as we bring you the latest developments around the G20. Trade and investment, security, agriculture, energy and climate change are just some of the main themes. Over the next few weeks, the various working groups will finalize their plans for the G20 leaders, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on developments. See you soon.